Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to yet again another fantastic indie creator interview. It's your Cape Crusader Code, and we're keeping it geekly with our returning guest, Martin Kupski. We're here to break down the Foretold Westmark legacy from his awesome indie game developing studio, Nodbrim Interactive. And man, I've had the chance to play this. We're watching me play this right here, and this was fun. I really have not had the opportunity to get into a lot of like card games, so this was a different experience for me. And man, I had a blast. And you said there were some elements that I quite didn't get to experience, so I'm excited to dive into those. But before we do, let's begin with the basics, Martin. Let's start off with who you are and how you got into creating indie games.
Yeah, I'm Martin. Yeah, hello. I started off as a visual effects artist in the movie industry, so that was totally different. But I've always wanted to work with games, so slowly but surely I kind of nudged myself into the game development sphere. Then I met Christopher at like another project that we worked on. That project didn't really go as planned, so we started our own company, which is Nodbrim, and that's kind of where I think it was 2015, founded the company and set off to kind of do turn-based games as try to do something different in the genre, because a lot of games are very similar. There's a lot of copy pasting when it comes to game design, so I love to experiment with new ideas and stuff like that. So the Foretold is kind of one step in the right direction when it comes to kind of making something different.
So I haven't played a whole lot of different card games of this nature. You know, what exactly are you guys doing that's setting this game apart from the others?
The others are, I don't want to talk crap about others, but like, yeah, the usual gist of it all is like you have your deck, you're building that deck, but that deck consists of different abilities or attacks and stuff like that. What we're doing differently is, instead of chugging attacks at the enemy, you're chugging cards at a problem on the board. So you're having a board that you're kind of trying to solve the layout and trying to lock in numbers at the bottom instead of doing an attack. So once you lock things in, the attack kind of activates, and whatever it is, it applies to you or the enemy.
So are we going to experience this for a lot of different like actions within the game, or is it going to be something where like everything you do is going to be determined by the layout of the cards?
It's not just the cards. I mean, it all matters of like what items you bring into combat, and not just the cards in your hands, because the cards themselves are kind of the random element of it all. And then within the items, you have a little bit more control on how to kind of deal with the enemies and stuff like that. And also we have the leveling system, which we call persona, and it's based on 3 different types, where you have mind, body, and soul. The mind is like the tinker, the strategist kind of player, and then the body is like brute forcing, the barbarian kind of type, where you want to do a lot of damage. And then the soul is like the mischievous kind of spell person. And I'm seeing necromancers, but like it's a little bit more than that. So we have those 3 types, and then the player can basically mix and choose between those as they go along, and create their own kind of weird mix of what kind of persona they want to be.
So what type of cards can we expect to find? Is it just going to be the ones that I experienced within the demo, like the different modifiers, or are there going to be like a whole bunch of different ones?
We have a whole bunch of cards that aren't in the demo, so there's going to be a lot of different like base cards, which are the base deck that you have now. So they're going to be more than the ones we have already, and on top of that, there's going to be tons of different spell cards that are going to have different ways of manipulating the board, and even manipulating the enemy and yourself and stuff like that. So it's not just the little small piece you have in the demo.
So, I mean, we were talking backstage as well. You mentioned there's a possibility of even dying during, playing cards and laying them down. So, what type of, battling and fighting can we expect to see?
Oh yeah, like the enemies can do a lot of weird stuff towards you, not just damage. They can apply curses and stuff like that. That can be permanent in some cases, where you like permanent curses can be removed, but like they have to be like manually removed with consumable items or something like that. So if you're stuck with a curse, you have to kind of deal with that every time you go into battle, because you can't really get rid of it until after the combat, so to speak. So you can only use items in the map, basically.
I really like the different mechanics you guys added within this. What type of, meta can we expect to find? Is there going to be like a one deck rules them all type of scenario in this, or are you guys going to set it up in a way where you can approach it with different like methods?
Yeah, our plan is to use those personas. So you have the 3 different methods to go about, but you can mix them however you want to kind of find the optimal kind of mixture for yourself. Some people like to go all in, like really hard hitting, and then just do the life leech on the side so you don't get like totally drained. And some other people do like a lot of mind, because they like the controlled on the board. And then you get like the soul aspect, where you can just drain your health and then boost your damage, because you're leeching yourself to be more powerful.
I love that though. Like, just take a little self damage to to make the DPS skyrocket.
We call it bloodletting, because you're kind of just draining yourself of health and making yourself more strong.
No, that is awesome. So
yeah.
The art in this, the music in this, the voice acting in this is just next level. I love just how everything is like so in sync. Can we talk a little bit about the whole entire creative team behind it?
So yeah, the founding guys, it's me and Christopher. We've been going at it for several years now. He's doing all the programming, the tech stuff, and I'm doing all the art, all the game design and story and all that stuff. We've added in Magnus is doing the sound design and most of the music, actually. He's a freelancer kind of joining the team, and as well as also Bruce doing editing with me on the story, so we get a nice dialogue flow and everything. Because I'm not really English in that sense, so like it's nice to have someone British kind of coming in and kind of helping me with the actual accent stuff, like specific phrases and things like that.
So where does this game take place? Like what type of environment were you guys aiming for?
I actually got a question yesterday about like Herbert is speaking about London in the game, and we're clearly not in London, and yes, we're talking about dollars in the game. So yeah, the game is about Burrmouth, the town of Burrmouth, which is situated on the east coast in the US. I haven't really told exactly where it is, so it's like a little bit vague. But we're in the US. There's a British guy in the US. That's kind of the setup. So I can tell you about the story, actually. So you play as Herbert Westmark. He's uncle to Theodore Westmark, which was a character from the last game. You don't need to play the last game in order to enjoy this one, just saying. So basically Herbert is there he's the sole heir of the Westmark estate, so he's going in to sign some papers, get some money and whatnot to kind of, just get that done and get back home. That doesn't go as planned though. So also we find out that he's stuck with something that is like a parasitic demon called Ambrose. He's always nagging and being like the annoying partner, always complaining or commenting whatever you're doing in the game. So you're kind of there. You're finding out that it's not really as you expected. Burrmouth is kind of a weird place. People here are kind of odd and don't behave normally. yeah, it's like stuff is going kind of awry and people are going missing in this place. So you're here to kind of investigate what's going on and kind of get to this state before like get. Yeah, I mean, you only have your estate. That's kind of where you're going throughout the whole game.
No,
it's on the east, so.
I had a blast playing it as well. You guys are currently running a Kickstarter, and I know we were talking backstage. Unfortunately, you don't think you're going to hit that mark within the next 70 hours. We're still going to take a look at it, though, maybe to get a better understanding of maybe how this game operates and, what you guys offered on the Kickstarter. And while we're doing it, we can kind of talk about, what's some of the next steps for you afterwards. So let's go ahead and pivot right over. And then while you guys are watching, we have J. Michael Miller saying, I like the art. Yes, the art is gorgeous. That was one of my favorite things. Plus the voice acting. I just thought
the voice acting. I'm super happy and like so proud of the actors we've got on board. Like the whole like crew that's joined the team is really nice. So the main actor who plays Herbert is like super talented. Like he plays both Herbert and Ambrose.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
We have CM Holy saying what up from Twitch as well. Thank you for stopping in, Chris. So we're looking at the Foretold. Westmark Legacy survived to investigate another day in this gothic horror adventure card game. Currently at $11,364 of a $24,762 goal with 262 backers and 70 hours left to go with Project We Love. And I know, you said you kind of feeling like you're probably not going to make it, but still some really good numbers. $11,000, 262 backers. I mean, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I'm really happy with all the like people that came in the beginning and they were super stoked about the project. We have a lot of new fans on our Discord. We're just talking to people all the time about the project. But like, of course, Kickstarter is a fickle thing. You don't always kind of get through, and it's fine. It's not the end of the world. It's like we're gonna pull through and kind of continue on. So it's just gonna take a little longer than we planned. So.
And for everyone that is watching, right here is where you can wishlist it. You could also download the demo for free and play. How long is that demo? I only had a chance to play just a little taste of it, but how long can people expect it to be?
For one session, it's like an hour and a half.
Wow, that's not bad.
But like you can replay it because the map is structured in like different paths you can go, because that's kind of how the game is. We're chopped the story up into pieces, so you can experience the game in different ways depending on which way you walk around the map. So, and you can't backtrack. That's the thing. Like you can just walk ahead because your goal is to get to the Westmark estate.
Okay.
So so you're just traversing the map and kind of finding new things, new characters, new abilities and stuff like that along the road.
So explain how these different phases during the card game goes. Like, let's kind of start breaking down a little bit of how this works.
So the game is chopped up into phases and turns. So a turn is when you use a card on the board, then everything kind of moves downward as a conveyor belt, sort of. And the bottom is basically the bottom. So once the cards come to the bottom, they add up. So numbers add up. Your goal is to kind of manipulate the cards that are going down to get those numbers on the bottom. And phases are basically once you've ended your amount of turns you have. They're based on the item you bring into combat. So some items have more turns, some items have less turns. That's how we balance the easy and hard items and stuff like that. So once you hit end of your turn, the phase ends and you use whatever you have stored in your action that is like up to the left, and then you attack basically, and then a new phase starts, and you go on with this till enemy dies or you die. So hopefully you kill the enemy first. So I mean, the enemy has its own time and turn counter up to the right, so you kind of need to keep track on that. So they have different abilities and attacks depending on who you're meeting. But yeah.
So what are some of the different influences you guys, drew from when creating this game?
Oh, so many. Like first and foremost, I'm a big D&D fan, so I'm playing a lot of D&D. The persona thing is kind of my simplification of the D&D rule set with how you level up and all that stuff, because I want to make it easier for players to kind of get into and go through everything. Also, we have skill checks in dialogues, so you like once you meet a character, like encounter an obstacle, like we have a broken bridge in the demo, so you can have like 50% chance to clear the gap or fall down. But that's also dependent on what persona points you spend on which one, because body is kind of the physical aspects. So if you're jumping a bridge, you need more body points to clear the gap. If you're doing an investigation, you need more mind points for that. And if you're kind of doing charisma kind of checks, like trying to talk to someone or something like that, then soul points are better for that. So you can't get all of them, but you can always kind of mix and match, kind of trying to hone that.
So what's the next step for you guys? If the Kickstarter doesn't fund, where are you guys going next, and what's the best way for people to stay up to date with how they can support this project?
Yeah, well, the next plan is to kind of make a plan on what to do after the Kickstarter. But once we have that, it's just basically finishing the game. It's gonna take a couple of months. Can't really say what release date it's gonna be now that the Kickstarter is not gonna go through. So we're gonna announce that later. If people are interested, then just join our Discord. It's on the bottom of the Kickstarter page with links. Or the Twitter. I'm quite often on Twitter, so it's like those two are the easiest way to get a hold of us. We're on the Steam forums as well if anybody wants to kind of go that route. So yeah, we're quite easy to reach. So
some awesome rewards though here. The poster and the shirt, and I really like the deck collection booklet as well.
Yeah, it makes me sad with the physical stuff, because it's always nice with physical, but yeah, well, it is what it is. So, but some aspects, like the art book, is gonna be made even if we're not gonna finish the Kickstarter, because I'm a stickler for art books. I love those, and also everybody says I have to do it, so I can't really say no.
You said there's different ways to play it too, right?
Yeah, you can play it several times and get a different experience every time. Because you have different routes to go, you have different personas to play with, so you can kind of mix and match. And also items are randomized, so you don't have always the same items on every route. Cards are also in the merchant random, so you don't always get the same cards every time. So yeah, and the game is fully voiced as well, so that's a thing I'm really proud of.
No, yeah, so, I really like that. And the voice acting is good. It's not just voice acting to have voice acting. It's like very distinctive voices.
It's my passion project when it comes to I love audiobooks and stuff like that. So it's this is the way I want to make an audiobook, basically. So it's like a dramatization of some sort.
Oh, that's awesome. So Martin, what's next for you in 2023? Outside of this card game. Hold on one second.
Oof, yeah.
Sorry, we live on a busy road. My apologies. So, Martin, what's next for you in 2023 outside of this card game? What are you guys up to next?
Well, finishing the game. That's the main focus. I still have Gremlin stuff to kind of do, but that's on the back burner for now, because this is kind of my main focus at the moment. Oh, can't really do too much because I don't want to burn out.
So for anyone out there interested in getting into any indie games, what would be the biggest piece of advice you would have for them to kind of help them just get jump started in their search into where to begin?
Oh, that's a very broad question, because everybody's different. Some people are good at art already, or some are really good with the technical aspects. Some people don't really know where to start. I would just say YouTube is a great source of information for beginners. I think that's a great way to start. If you're curious, just check out Unity or Unreal, videos about them. Maybe take a course in something, but just make something is a good first step, because you you're not gonna make your magnum opus the first time around. So better just do like Pong or something basic, and then expand from that and make something more advanced afterwards, because you have to kind of start somewhere.
Some awesome advice. Thank you so much for swinging by and breaking down this awesome indie game. It's always a pleasure to get the opportunity to talk games. You know, I'm trying to branch more and more into that medium, so thank you for this opportunity once again. Everyone watching, right here is the link. Be sure to get on Steam and wishlist it, and be sure to check out that Kickstarter to sign up for their Discord so you can stay up to date with what they're doing next. With that being said, it is time for us to wrap up. I hope you all have a lovely Monday, but most importantly, guys, keep it geekly.